Welcome back. This is going to be our fifth lesson on the basics. And here we're going to be talking about the tabs and learning our first song. So let's go. So on the last lesson we learned our finger exercises for our hand positioning. Remember, you want to have that perfect before doing any type of song, before doing, before just doing stuff. Because then the thing is, the more you do the more you learn songs and all that, and you don't have the right positioning, that will grow as a habit, and it'll be really hard. It'll be even harder to relearn, and that's what happened to me. I just started learning songs, and the problem was that I was doing like fingers like this, you can't. This is not good. This has the thumb way too far. Your fingers are too spread out. Like they're not in the semicircle shape. They're not. They have to be on top, and all these problems in my forearm. So then I just kept on learning songs. Like, why can't I play, hard riffs and stuff? Well, it's because my fingering wasn't well, and that's what happened. I was pretty frustrated because I was just practicing, hours, just, learning like hard rhythms and stuff, and I couldn't do them, and it was because of my finger positioning. It took a while to figure that out. So I don't want to make you go through what I had to go through. So I'm teaching this. So remember to recap, like recap. You got your hand, so you move it up. You put your thumb like that. Spread your fingers a bit. Make them get the semicircle shape. Make sure your forearm's straight. Make sure this part's straight. Make sure that the forearm, I guess, over here is behind the neck a bit, and then make sure your thumb is resting on the neck. And then you start playing the notes. Make sure that all the notes ring under it. So like this. My thumb is resting. My forearm is behind the neck. It doesn't have to be strictly behind the neck. It just has to be like, it's not like that. It just got to be like in the middle, a bit behind. You can also move your thumb around to make it feel not as tense and to make it feel more comfortable. And then make sure everything else is ringing. Okay. So here we'll learn our first song. This is a first basic song that almost a lot of people learn as their first guitar or bass song. Here we'll be learning Seven Nation Army, and this is to practice with our fingering, and you don't have to get the rhythm right, you just want to get the fingering right. And then later you can work on the rhythm, and then we're just going to be learning the beginning, which goes dun 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 dun. That part we won't be learning the power chords, because we haven't learned them yet. We'll be learning them another lesson. So just to practice the fingering, we'll be learning this song. So you remember you want to first go on the seventh note, and you want to make sure everything, you have the semicircle, your thumb, your forearm straight, and this is going to be the seventh. And we're also learning tabs also, which is I forgot to include. I'll be putting some tabs on over here, and I'll be saying, how it works. So how it works, quick recap, you have the E, A, D, G, B, and E string. So that's the tuning pretty much, also the strings. So your first string is the lowest note on the tab notation. So if it says if it says seven, if it says seven on the second to last at the end, that means it will go here, because it's like the reverse of your guitar strings. If the guitar string says 6, and then if it says at the bottom 0 and then 0, if it says at the bottom 0, that means here 0. If it means at the top 0, that means here 0. It's like an opposite. In the beginning I was kind of confused. I was playing everything wrong. I was like, wait, what? So remember, it's like an opposite. If it says 0 at the bottom of the tab, that means it's at the top. And so that means if it says 7 at the second to last string, that means it's talking about the 7 here. At the bottom. That means 7 here. Let me check what I'm saying is right. Okay, I was just checking because normally when I look at tabs, I don't think about this. It's been a long time since I've thought about this stuff. But yeah, that is. So it's the second to last. And if it says 7 on The second to last, that means it's the second string. So it first starts on the 7. We'll learn the notes later, but it first starts on the 7. And remember, second to last, so second string. Then it goes to a 10 on the second string. And then back to the 7, so. You know, 7, 10. You can use your index finger, your first finger if you want to, but I would get used to using your pinky to move along. You'll go faster, so you don't have to go like, like with your first finger everywhere. You just go directly to your pinky. Make sure you got the right positioning. Remember, my thumb's a bit up, yours can be too, but if going down helps you, that's also okay. So. Okay, now you want to go to the 5th fret, and then you want to go to the 5th fret. Remember, second to last, this is all on the same string just to keep it easy, basic tab learner. So 7, 10, 7, 5, 7, 10, 7, 5. So you want to do that, you just practice 7, 10, 7, 5, and that's on the second to last string on the tab. So if at the end, the bottom, so that means 7. So now we go to the 3rd, and now to the 2nd. So 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2, 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. You want to have all your hand positioning, finger positioning, practice. You all want to have that perfect before doing any of this, because this will leave you to have bad habits if you don't have that well. Also, you might find some videos of some people playing. You can also look at, don't look at live shows because they're standing, and standing changes the formation a bit. But I would say look at maybe some guitar covers, and they might have their fingers also like that. So you just want to try to imitate that, but make sure it's not hurting, Just imitate it, make sure like you're not hurting yourself. That's how I'm trying to explain it on the other lessons. But so remember, so 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. I'm only using my index. I'm going to change. 7, first finger, pinky, 10, 7, first finger. And here, you don't have another finger behind you, you just have your first finger, you don't have like here. So you can just move your finger down, to be honest. It doesn't really matter. You go 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. So that's all the notes for what we're going to learn. Now we want to go to the rhythm. We go 7, 7, 10, so 2 7s. And then 7, just 1, 5, 3, 2. So it's just 2 7s at the beginning. And then 10 7. So 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. So 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. So you just want to have it, that type of formation and stuff. You want to have the finger, and then you want to have the notes right. So 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. You just want to put that in your head, that. And then maybe don't get the notes of it. 7, 7, 10. In the beginning, you can do that to practice. Later on, you want to move away from tabs, but I would say in the beginning, the most helpful thing are tabs. So just 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. And this is also, remember, it's the second to last. It's like an inverse. It's like the opposite, let's say. And so you want to have that down. Just the tabs, you can read tabs. And this is just notes, no chords, no power chords, no triads, and none of that stuff. It's just notes. And that's pretty much the whole beginning. Now there's a second part of the song, which is everything the same, just you're adding one more note, and it is when you go to the 3, you go back to the 5. So let me repeat. So you go 7. Normally it's Then so you go 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3. Instead of going to 2, you go to a 5, and you go back 3, 2. So you're just adding the 5 after the 3. Adding another 5. So 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 5, 3, 2. So 7, so beginning is 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2, 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 5, 2. It will also help you, instead of memorizing this, just think of the rhythm. Dun 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 dun. So thinking of that rhythm and thinking about the notes can help you, and without like just memorizing, because memorizing is kind of boring. So you just want to, think about that. So 7, and remember, you gotta have all your strings ringing. This basic riff. The important part of this is not the riff itself, but it's the tabs. You want to get used to tab, just looking at tabs, and it's the opposite. So if it says 7 at the end, that means it's the second to last string at the end. That means it's going to be the second string. It's the opposite. And you also want to get used to the finger positioning and the hand position. You want to have that always perfect when you're doing notes. It changes with chords and bends, but that basic positioning, you want to have it good. And that will also help you. It's going to be you're going to go a lot faster with power chords and songs and chords. You're going to go a lot faster if you have that well. It's like this beginning like stump. If you pass it, you can go really fast. You know what I'm saying? So if you do it, and then you'll see what I'm saying. So then we learn, and then we have the tune to practice all this. And we also have the exercises. These always as a warm-up, always as, beginning, before playing anything, just as a warm-up. They're always good, and then they'll lead you to play this better. So this one's pretty hard. When I started, I could not even do that. I was able to do this, I would say maybe halfway playing guitar. This is when I knew songs I was not playing right. And so if you're struggling with that, don't worry. Simpler versions such as just practicing that over and over again. And just doing that over and over again. That can also help. Well, also, if you've been thinking, if your pinky's out like that, that's okay, but normally when you go to on a chord like this, or when you go like this, if it's out like that, it's also like not like, it doesn't look good, but it's gonna be harder to change. Like, you won't change as quick when you're changing chords. So just get in the habit of keeping your pinky down. This is also not that easy because you normally want to go like up and like da 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 da. Just try to keep that down also. There's many things, so just remember keeping your fingers down. Semicircle, straight angle, thumb resting, forearm back. This is the palm is not touching the string. Then you have what I just said, which was you don't want to have so many things. You don't want to have your pinky sticking out. So normally you don't want to have it at the beginning. Don't worry too much about it, but later on when you have better practice, you don't want to have it. I would say that's everything, so back to the song. So you see my pinky was like this. I have to do a lot more motion than just going like, quicker. So later on when you do solos and stuff like that, you want to have speed. So that means you can go like small differences. We're going like, instead of going like, there's a difference there. So you want to practice putting your pinky down. Next I would say practice the rhythm, also practice the notes in your head. So da 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 da. Then add numbers to them. 7, 7, 10, 7, 5, 3, 2. So you want to practice that. Then you want to look at familiarize yourself with tabs. And it's like the opposite. So the last string is the first string, second to last, second string, like that. So you just want to practice that, and then just practice with the tune and with the exercises, and just with that, I would say you're probably already above a lot of people who, which is not their fault, and it's just that they learn like me and many others, which they learn it wrong, and then it takes years to regain that like this muscle coordination. It's not easy in the beginning, you know. Or your pinky's down, all these minor things which become really big things later on. If you don't have them right, then, which many people later on don't have them right, and then you got injuries and not good. So just practicing a lot in the beginning. If you're frustrated, just take like some time off, come back to it. Normally I've noticed that when I've come back to something like 10 minutes later, I start playing it well, which I was trying to play after practicing for like an hour. So if you get frustrated, just stop playing, just come back to it and redo the exercises and then try again. You just want to keep that, barrier. And then when you overcome it, you're gonna go a lot, like you'll be like a Formula One. You're gonna start like, learning songs and everything. And then you'll have that right, so then you'll be able to play faster and all that. So all this hard work in the beginning will great outcome at the end. And I would say this is probably one of the hardest units, like I said, of the basics. This is going to be our last lesson of the basics, so it's going to be our hardest part. It's pretty much the hardest, the hand positioning. Then we got chords. Chords is also a big step. But remember, if you have your hand positioning right, chords should be, it's going to be hard, but it shouldn't be as hard. Some people learn chords wrong. Like, they start learning weird, forms of chords, and then they get frustrated because, it's not ringing. And they want it to ring like that, and it's going like, bro, why is that happening? Well, it's because your finger positioning is not correct. So just with the fingering positioning here, it might not seem like a lot, but it's gonna be a big deal at the end, And also just giving this out for free, helping as many people as I could, because in the beginning, I had this problem. No one ever taught to me. I was pretty much self-taught on guitar. I learned bass with a teacher, but then guitar is different. It's not the same. So I was pretty much self-taught on guitar, and all these problems came to me, and I didn't recognize them. So giving you this, just remember all the steps, all the exercises, and then we just learned the tabs with the song. And this will be wrapping up our basics. You can always replay them, re-look at parts to help you practice. And I would say that's it. Next, we're going to probably be starting off chords, power chords, triads, all that stuff, the chords unit. And it's going to be a great journey. So, thanks.